Yo, it's your boy, Chef AT. We're back again with another edition of Greenhouse Cooks. Today, we're going to be making a vegan deli meat of Seitan ball that comes out to be a teriyaki turkey. These were absolutely delicious, and look at that texture. All right, let's get started. So we can get going with our ingredient list here. We have firm tofu, 1 pack will do. We have our marinade in the bag. It's gonna be a teriyaki glaze. You can use a different flavored glaze if you like. And I have Mrs. Dash onion and herb. We have garlic powder. We have adobo seasoning, black pepper. We have our vital wheat gluten, nutritional yeast. We have our all-purpose flour, vegetable broth, and we have a bit of liquid smoke. So first step, we're going to be getting our tofu added into our blender, and we're just going to blend that up until it's a nice rounded pulp. And we're just going to add in a tablespoon of olive oil. And we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of our liquid smoke. Let's go ahead and get our seasonings added in. We're going to have our black pepper, our garlic salt, we're going to have our adobo powder, and so have a poultry flavored seasoning. We're going to have an onion and herb. We're just going to blend that up nice and smooth again. We want to make sure all these seasonings are incorporated with that tofu, so we're going to let it go for a couple minutes. So once our couple minutes is up, we're going to give our tofu a nice taste and see if our seasonings are to our liking. When it is, we're going to add in 1 cup and another 1/4 cup of vital wheat gluten. Next step, we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. Now we're just going to add in a nice heaping tablespoon of all-purpose flour. So we can just put our cap on and we're going to blend this until we get our nice seitan ball. We want it nice and firm. If you're not satisfied with the firmness or the moisture level of your seitan, you can go ahead and add in a tablespoon at a time. Mine looked a bit moist, so I added in 2 tablespoons to start. Felt a little moist, so I added in 1 more tablespoon. Your recipe may go a little different, so I will only recommend adding in 1 tablespoon of vital wheat gluten at a time. So we're going to knead this ball here very firmly. It's a very firm ball, so you want to make sure you're kneading it. I like to do a tuck and roll method. You can knead however you like, but when we're doing a loaf, I definitely want to keep the loaf form, and I want to always just keep folding it into itself until we got that nice, firm, dense dough seitan ball. So we're going to get a pan lined with a little olive oil here, and we're just going to heat that, and we're going to sear the ends and around our seitan. So you don't want to go too far on the sear. You really just want to be creating a coating that's going to lock in all the flavors of this seitan. This is also another great component to holding in the flavor of the marinade. So we'll just be browning each side of this, trying to make sure we keep it as round as possible, not want to turn it into a square. So you want to keep it on the move. Have a pair of tongs handy. It makes it a little easier to keep this thing going. And once that's done browning, we're going to set it aside to cool for a second, and we're going to wrap it with aluminum foil. This is a very important step to make sure you're wrapping that foil very, very tightly, and I would say double and triple wrap it if you have the foil to do it. Reason being, when we put this in the oven, it's going to try to expand, and we don't want it to expand at all. We want to keep it nice and tight and pressurized. But we do not want it to explode, so we're going to poke a few holes in it just to make sure this thing can breathe and it can release some of the trapped steam that's going to be inside. So to add in a bit of flavoring to our seitan in the middle, we're just going to let it steam in some simmering veggie stock for about an hour. Making sure every 15 minutes you're rotating your seitan, just making not to get one side too hot on the bottom and overcooking it. Now that seitan has sat in the steamer for an hour, we're going to put it in our oven for about 15 minutes. When that 15 minutes is up, we're going to take it out and we're going to put this in the freezer to cool. Once our seitan is below 35 degrees, we're going to go ahead and get that pulled out of the freezer and we're going to unwrap it. Now, if you wrap this right, this should take no less than 2 days to get this unwrapped. There we are. I'm starting to see seitan now, and here we are. We have our beautiful seitan deli meat roll. This will be ready to eat if you want like any flavoring, but we're going to be putting this in our marinade in a bag. We're going to try this out. I thought it would be perfect for this recipe, so we're just going to throw our entire seitan loaf in the bag, as the bag says, to bag it, seal it, and sit for 30 minutes. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for a half an hour, and we're going to come back and see what we got. So it's been a little over a half an hour for me. I'm going to take this seitan out of the bag, and I think it held in pretty well. I just take a little extra of the teriyaki sauce and I'm going to sprinkle over top, and I'm going to use my brush to just spread across. And this is what we have, and we're going to be putting that back into the oven where it's going to sit for another half an hour. I see that marinade is starting to caramelize up on top. We're going to be rotating that around about every 5 or 10 minutes or so. And when the half hour is up, we should be left with something like this. This beautiful deli loaf, teriyaki turkey that's ready to eat and slice warm if you like, but preferred if you would go ahead and cool this again. And once it is cool, this thing will be ready to slice and eat, and it will be very, very delicious. Trust me. Now, once it's cool, you're ready to slice those up and make your deli sandwiches or eat with crackers or however you like to enjoy your deli meat. This is a delicious recipe, and I'm sure your family would enjoy it as well. Could take a closer look at the loaf texture. This thing was pretty good for a first attempt here. I think this was actually pretty well defined as far as it being the texture goes. You can see it has those air pockets in it, and this tear here is just about immaculate. I couldn't say I could get any closer to being a real meat-like texture than this. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and if your family enjoyed it, please leave us a comment below. We're really trying to show people how to make these cost-effective meals and make them vegan friendly. Just look at those tears. Wow. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching this video. Peace.